Hey, do you know what the real purpose of life insurance is? I want to share a story with you guys in regards to my grandfather. And I remember something happened when I was a teenager. When I was about 17 years old, I remember the insurance guy came by the house. And back then, wasn't a long time ago, at least about 20 years ago, the insurance person was the person that he'll come to the neighborhood and go from house to house with a little packet for the older people to just pay their policy. And I remember, not knowing anything about life insurance, what I knew was to bury you. And my grandfather just looking at me like, well, that's a pretty good policy, boy. It's $5,000. That'll be enough to put me in the ground. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he just let me know, something happened to him. That's what he got insurance money to pay for his burial. So that was there and it was covered. Fast forward to probably 10 years later, I was in the military, got a phone call. My grandfather had passed. I came back home to go through the procedures of getting him buried. First thing that went wrong, the funeral expenses, and this was relatively cheap, was $7,500. Fortunately for us, it was someone that the family knew that owned the funeral home who was able to get that stuff covered. So again, we're already $2,500 in the hole, even though we didn't have to incur that cost of the $2,500. My grandfather already underestimated $2,500. But the glaring problem that came up with the life insurance had nothing to do with not having enough money to bury him. The main problem was the whole point of life insurance, and that's to replace you. My grandfather he didn't know, but the issue came up. My grandmother, she had no experience with paying like household expenses, property taxes, things like that. His actual income that he was getting in each month was gone. All future things that we were planning to do with him were gone. So we had to find out on the fly what we needed to do. Unfortunately, it happens far too often. People look at life insurance, no one as a hindrance, and they don't understand the true value of it, and they don't have it. And what happens is someone dies, everybody's breaking the net to start a GoFundMe account, because they want to get a proper burial. People, we can't do that anymore. You have to make sure that you're thinking about what it's going to take to replace you. Okay, so let's just go through a couple things. Number one, you want to get buried. Okay, so we know that you're going to have at least probably about 10 grand set aside to bury you, put you in the ground, make sure you get a proper ceremony and everything like that. Second thing is what kind of expenses you had that you'll be leaving on your loved ones. Just say if you want to pay off a mortgage, you got certain debts you want to get covered, you need to make sure you're leaving enough money to get those things taken care of. Third thing, your heirs. Say if you have children or something that's school age and anything like that, you want to make sure if they're going in private schools, most important, they're going to college, you have enough money allocated to pay some portions of the tuition or pay the whole tuition altogether. Third thing, what are your family going to be doing going forward? Okay, do you have a family business? Do they have certain living expenses from operating the home, living, things like that? You want to make sure that you're leaving them comfortable where they just aren't just they have to sell everything off to find a whole new life. You want to make sure that you're leaving them in a position where they can continue to live the way they are living. And the last thing I want to say is, if you want to be forward thinking, you want to leave some things to your future heirs. That being your children, your grandchildren, or your great grandchildren, have certain things set aside. So that's what life insurance does. It isn't meant to just bury you. It's meant to replace you and all the things you can do in the future. Now, for you to get in the mindset to start thinking about it, you need to start thinking not necessarily even about the life insurance, about thinking forwardly. What are you going to do for your family? Are you setting up things for them now to go to college? Are you setting up things up for them now to live in a certain way? Are you setting up things right now for your future heirs, your grandkids and your great grandkids? Because if you're not thinking about that now and building towards that, last thing on your damn mind is going to be about getting enough life insurance to cover those potential costs. So I hope I shared a little information on you with you guys in regards to the true purpose of life insurance. This is Deonte Burden. I'm host of Changing Lives. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, check out all the videos that we got listed on the channel. And most importantly, guys, hey, listen, hit that blue man in the bottom right hand corner. Take care. Thanks.